I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. If you wanna take it back to the 50s, maybe I'm not the guy for you. You're dying not to work, but work until you die, you know that's true. Have you thought it through? Cause you love to tell me what to do. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe your two's upside down, and I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. I don't wanna put on a smile, everybody expects me to. So you can keep your suit and your tie, gotta hope that it strangles you. Yeah, I do. You buy shit you don't need to impress the ones you hate, that's so up. Cause everything you own just ends up owning you. So, dear society, you suck. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down, and I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Ooh. Dear society, you suck. Am I the only one who's outside of this box? Who cares about your posts? I know they're only fake. Show us what you own and how much money that you make. Yeah, I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. Keep your stupid job, pretend that you're the person you wanted to be. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying inside. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down. I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Yowza.
Good morning, Internet, and welcome to the Marcus Morning Radio Show for January 25th, 2023. You know, I'm going to say it right now. Just Santa Maria, I was unmuted. I know I was unmuted. I know it. Damn it. I know it, I knew it, and I did good. But in a world of unmuted, how did I get remuted? There's fuckery afoot. There's fuckery afoot. Okay? Because things are going too good. So there's some, I got gremlins in the system, man. I'm basically William Shatner on an airplane right now. For all you young people, I'm sure you've all seen the skit. Like, stewardess, there's something on the edge of the wing. There's something on the wing. And like, there's been so many parodies, but that all came about from a show called, it's not The Outer Limits. That is a good show though too. What's the one with the there's like the narrator. Welcome. Today you are going to see a world that does not exist. This is a fabric, and they say it's not The Outer Limits. It's there was the black and white one, and then they made the color one. And the damn name of the show is it The Outer Limits? Not The X-Files. It was black and white. William Shatner. It was a big deal. It was the Twilight Zone. Thank you, Bubbles. The Twilight Zone. So there was an old show. It was black and white. It was great. It was basically an anthology, but when anthologies were good. And every episode was kind of like a new kind of twist on reality thought experiment. And they were so cool. Well, one of them, William Shatner, he saw this boogin, a gremlin, on the edge of the wing. And it was such a good performance, man. He's like, don't you people see? We're going to die. There's a gremlin on the wing. And everyone's like, dude, you got to chill. It's like, look. And he looks. And it's gone. Everyone's like, what's up with the crazy guy? Right? So, in a world of gremlins, be the one that sees them. Because I'll tell you, I'd rather have the perception and be able to tell that there's a boogin trying to take me out than be one of the ignorant people who may or may not be considered crazy in public. But here's one thing about being crazy in public that I want to touch on. So for you gamers out there, which I know there's a lot, in the great console wars, you have Xbox, PlayStation, and then the winner, PC. But in a world where not everybody can have PC or wants a PC, the consoles are great. I was a console kid, grew up until I could finally get a PC, and I'll tell you, there's nothing better than pushing that button on your favorite console, hearing that little boop, boop, and then gaming's about to go, baby. You know it's coming. You're going to hit up your buddies, you're going to jump in the Xbox party, and you're going to bitch and moan for the next 6 hours about this thing that you hate so much, but for some reason can't put down. That is modern gaming at its finest. Well, Xbox has made the news. No, it's not about Bill Gates trying us all to eat bugs. Okay, what it is about is Xbox wants to be the first carbon-aware console. PR. You know, as the consumer, that you are going to be screwed when your favorite product has a PR statement. Because the thing about PR, first and foremost, what does it stand for? Well, I've never actually thought about it. Personal representation, that would be my guess. Professional representation, that'd be my second guess. Okay? But as Bubbles goes and gets that coffee, okay, right now, Xbox and Microsoft, they want to be the green company, right? They did on Windows 11. They're nerfing people's systems because performance mode, right? But the problem is when you don't tell people that, hey, by the way, what you're buying isn't going to be running as optimally as you expect it to, because we as a company have beliefs, and we want those beliefs to be in the news. And the only way to really do that is to not really give a shit what you guys want. Now, let me put you in the Wayback Machine. Before I tell you what Xbox is up to right now, I want to tell you what Xbox was up to before. Hello, Crump, you beautiful people. Public relations. Damn it, I was close. Back in the day, Xbox had a wonderful idea, and I'll never forget this because I was actually in the military when this happened. So one of the biggest complaints when Xbox, they came out and said, guess what, people? Guess what, gamers? We got a new Xbox coming. And you know what? You're going to always have to be connected to the internet or you won't be able to use it. And a lot of gamers said, no, we don't like that. Because like the part you guys don't understand is we take our Xboxes places and we hang out with our friends, and we don't always play. Like a lot of gamers don't even play multiplayer, so they have literally zero reason to hook up their Xbox to the internet. Now, granted, in a world of evolving technologies, these assholes thought, hey, fuck them. Wave of the future, baby. Well, the thing that they didn't understand is when Xbox said, hey, by the way, your Xbox is always going to be on, and it needs to always be connected to the internet. And if you don't, go buy the Xbox 360. I'm not kidding. They said this on the stage at a convention. The homie, I don't remember what his name is, but he literally said, now listen, if you don't like this is a paraphrase. If you don't like this, we still have the wonderful Xbox 360 you could buy. And everyone was like, are you fucking stupid? You just told basically your entire gamer base to not buy your product because we don't want to listen to the fact that you don't want your Xbox to always be on and always be connected to the internet. Well, Xbox for a little bit, so they could make the sales happen, they removed that feature. They made it so you didn't need to be connected to the internet, and they made it so that it didn't need to always be on. Well, not too long after that happened, Xbox decided, well, you know what? We got the sales we wanted. Let's go ahead and push that update so that now it always is on and it always has to be connected to the internet. And that's exactly what they did. That is exactly what they did. Your Xbox is always on, and it always has to be connected to the internet. So now, fast forward 2023. What's the big hotness? The big hotness isn't new tech, new power, convenience. No, we're all talking about saving the world, right? The green movement. The green movement. Well, guess what happens when the company has more money than sense, and all they want to do is get good PR because they know people will buy their crap no matter what. So since we're at a place like this is exactly where Xbox is. So Xbox, being the great purveyor of following trends that it is on the green movement. And right now, Xbox is now the first carbon-aware console. Carbon-aware. So basically, here's the short and long of it. Okay? What once was always on and always connected to the internet, so that when you hit your Xbox, it basically fires up immediately. That is now being switched back to what it used to be. It is powering off, right? So it's not consuming operating power. And operating power is very different than standby power. Standby power more or less keeps the lights on just enough so you don't hit your shins when you're walking through the living room. Right? Like, standby power allows updates to come by. It allows very, very minor functions to happen. Okay? Which uses less power. It's fine and dandy. I first and foremost, I'll tell you my opinion at the end. But so what it's doing now is it essentially saying they've done all this calculations and they've done all this grid calculations, and now there's this thing where power grids actually share their metadata on letting the devices, smart devices, can now plug into the power system, and they know through the internet that based off of your power grid, what type of power is being generated, be it non-renewable or renewable. And best trust me, big ass quotes around both of those titles. Okay. So in a world of now Xbox has this new brain in it that says, oh, we noticed that your highest power usage in the city is when everybody gets off work between like 4 and 10 p.m. So what we're going to do is, if you're not playing the game at that time, it's going to be optimized and it's going to reduce its power load and basically negate the power usage that's being done. All right. And then here's the action. Here's why there was a line in the article that it made me laugh, because they had to throw it in there because they're not stupid. They're not stupid, man. They threw in the may. They threw in we believe by doing this, we may lower our emissions. And the ultimate irony here. So right now, Right now, I don't remember what I was saying. But ultimately, here's the point, y'all. We were pissed when they told us that we want to leave the Xboxes on. We were pissed now that they're telling us that they want to turn them off. But ultimately, I think thank you. The ultimate point is we're spending $500 to $800 on these consoles. These are our property. They're our property, and they should be. If you're spending money on a product from a company, and then years after the fact, years after you have bought this product, they can change it, they can update it and make it to a new version. Let me just shift your mindset for a second. You buy a Mustang, you buy a muscle car, you've saved up your whole life for it. You're like, man, it's what I've always wanted. I want a fucking muscle car. And it's like, all right, brother, here you go. You got the 400 horsepower. You know, we got everything you could ever need. This thing is a sex on wheels. You're driving it. You're enjoying it. You're not breaking any laws. You're not doing anything wrong. You're simply enjoying the product that you purchased with your hard-earned time. Because remember, money is nothing but time. Money is little pieces of paper that said, hey, I sacrificed my time for this piece of fucking paper, so give me what my time bought me. Time, you can make more money. You can't make more time. Every day you go to a job that is 8 hours committed to earning a piece of paper. And that's fine. We all need money. But if you're spending your money on something and then that something gets turned into something else, that's bullshit. That is bad. It's bad business practices. Because the business practice there is you will own nothing and you'll be fucking happy. We're not renting these Xboxes. Okay, when you buy these products, it's not even though the terms of service says it is, that's only because we allow it to happen. The only reason any of these things happen that piss us off is because we let them. We buy the Xboxes, we buy the games, we buy the Call of Duties, they release the shit, we buy them again. I don't, but the people do, the gamers do, man. Because they're just doing the easiest path. That's the thing. They're doing the easiest path. The easiest path for this stupid company, and I love companies, but I hate them when they're stupid, is, hey, we got government mandates that say that we have to be carbon neutral by 2030. Basically an impossible standard, but ultimately they're being forced to hit it. So as they're being forced to hit it, they look for ways to do it. They look for ways to meet these government regulations. Sometimes the government regulations are good. Sometimes the government regulations are bad. Most of the time, they're bad. But ultimately, they have a goal that the government said that they have to meet by 2030. And Bill Gates, being the bug-eating bastard that he is, you know he's on board. He's pushing it. But when they look, what exactly are they doing? They're looking for the simplest solution. Because right now, they can say, oh, look what we did, government. We lowered the carbon input of our products. And we didn't even have to change our production. But we still reached your goals. We just had to fuck the customers. And go back to the car. So you buy this Mustang, and a year after they buy it, they do an update, and now you only have 250 horsepower because their Ford is making a push to save on fossil fuels. Is that right? But no, it's okay because it's a game console. These principled ideas don't only matter when a lot of money is involved. If you spend $2 for an apple and on the inside it's a fucking orange, it doesn't matter if the orange tastes good. You bought an apple. You need to respect yourself enough to be respected. And having a company basically say that you don't own what you paid $500 for is not being respected. So to all you Xbox users, check your settings because they have been changed. And ultimately, I love saving the earth. We recycle. We have LED everything. We do everything we can to lower our carbon input. But you know what we don't do? We don't force it upon others. And that is easily the biggest difference between a good person and a piece of shit. Enjoy the music, and we'll be right back. Oh boy, I'm pushing all the buttons. That was One Ride by Roy Williams. It's just a good vibe, y'all. You know, we mix it up between the rants and the music because I think it's important. I think it's important to take a minute to truly think about what you just heard, what you're thinking about, how it felt, and then press forward. You know, time is meant to be appreciated. It's short, but it's infinite. I don't know. Think about if there was an unlimited water supply, okay? But you could only go to that water supply twice a day. So no matter what, even though the access to the most important resource in your life is bottomless and unlimited, you only get to tap into it twice a day. And if you know that's going to be the case, you probably should appreciate it. And as much as good ideas coming from Markus is as abundant as the sky is blue and beautiful, you only got so much access. 4 days a week, 4 hours a day. So as we continue our journey of education, inspiration, and entertainment, we find ourselves once again in Capitol Hill. That's right. Believe it or not, the U.S. government still has their heads thoroughly up their asses. And one thing that's interesting when you look at American politics, because we know the whole world does, right? Everybody loves to talk about us. But when you look at American politics, there's one thing that recently, even more so, has become like center stage, is kind of the idea of like drama, right? Drama is as old as humanity. We love drama. It pays attention. It gets things done. It manipulates. All drama. We love it. I don't know why we love it. Look, go back to theater. Go back to who is the Romeo? I mean, we got all kinds of drama. It's as far back as cold cave paintings, I'm pretty sure. There's just people nagging at each other. Drama makes the world go around. And there is always an abundance of drama going on in U.S. politics. And honestly, all politics, because I got something to say to Trudeau, too. But right now in the U.S., so one thing that happens a lot in the U.S. is bills get introduced that these people know, hands down, will never pass, right? They pass regulation for the politics of it. They pass regulation for their constituents. They pass regulation with the full and total right legislation with the full and total understanding that this will never pass. You want to know what a great example of that is? Which is why it amazes me that people still vote for Democrats. And now, granted, same on the other side. Do you know how long reparations have been on the table? Since the 80s. Since the 80s. It is 2023, and since the 80s, certain side of the aisle has talked about passing reparations. I don't believe in them in any way, shape, or form. But with that being said, at some point, when you see a congressman or woman like constantly talking about a point that they're trying to pass, here's exactly what is going on. You have a population that is yelling for it, a certain population. It could be whatever, right? A population is saying, hey, do something about this. And then a politician is using that, hey, do something about this, to gain points, to gain political power. Because the more power you have, the more change you can make. This period. That's how it works. Look at the WEF. Okay? The more power you have, the more change you can make. So as you make up these lies and say that you care about these things, you know, you write these well, you don't, but your underlings write these bills knowing they're just going to get shot down. But they look great on news. So when I say to you, Holly introduces the Pelosi Act, which will ban lawmakers from trading stocks. Okay, there's a Holly and another person. I can't remember the other person's name, but they have wrote a bill that basically says that politicians and their spouses cannot participate, more or less, in the stock market. And the reason for this is because they have a direct and complete influence on the stock market. The bills they pass, the companies they regulate, the things they make illegal, the things they make legal, has trillions of dollars of effect on the market, on the stock market. Okay, so for example, back in 2020, when the U.S. government was going to do something for silicone, let me read it to you. So when the House prepared a vote on a bill focused on domestic chip manufacturing, Mr. Pelosi, or at the time House Speaker's wife, basically husband, sold, guess what? All of his domestic chip manufacturing stock. And then the very next day, guess what happened? Regulation was brought forward. Now, a spokesperson for Pelosi said at the time he sold those shares at a loss. Yeah, because he didn't want a bigger loss after the bill passed. So the whole point, okay, that I really just have to drive home here. The moment you decide to do something for the whole, you have to stop putting yourself first. The moment you decide to be a cop, the moment you decide to join the military, the moment you decide to run for office, the moment you join a school board, the moment you have decided that I am going to make my life be for the society, you have to put your stuff away. You have to be okay with not being a millionaire. You have to be okay, with not playing the stock market. You are now a servant to the people. Your ego gets checked at the door, and so does your fucking wallet. I'm not saying they should be slaves. I'm not saying they shouldn't get paid. But I'm saying that because humans are exactly what they are, flawed. Even if it's subconsciously, we will do what is best for us. We will selfishly act. If you completely, because for example, the domestic chip thing, say they bought it years before because it seemed like a good financial decision, yada, yada. Okay? That's fine. Unless you're a politician. That's fine. Unless you write bills that make certain chemicals illegal. How come hitting my desk is making it mute? Damn it. So ultimately, well, whatever. I don't know what you hit or what you didn't get, but the point is, it's insider trading. Fact, by definition, man. As much as I don't, they are playing the skirt. If it looks like a duck, smells like a duck, it's probably a fucking chicken. That's how our government works, right? Like, no, just because it looks like this doesn't mean it's this. And you can trust me because I'm in the government and I'm here to help. It's ridiculous, man. And here's why it matters. Here's why it's important. It has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with what they do with the money. And it honestly, as much as I hate to say it, it doesn't even have to do with the lies. It has to do with the fucking optics. Because here, if there is no world where an intelligent person can look at that scenario where a congressional or a member of Congress is making millions of dollars off of the stock market within days/weeks of legislation being introduced and or passed. No intelligent person, even if it is completely and totally above the board. I don't think so, but give her all the benefit of every doubt you ever have in your whole life. We'll give it straight to Nancy, right? We will give you all the benefit. No, you're an angel from heaven and you fart pixie dust, right? Even with all of that, no smart person can be like, oh, it's just a coincidence. 7 times this month. It's just a coincidence that she came in making less than 6 and now is worth tens of millions. It's just a coincidence. It's the optics. Because if we lose trust in our government, there's no quicker route to oppressive government. Because a government threatened will use force. And you saw it with COVID. You saw it with everything. A government threatened will always use force. So, in a world of bullshit bills that won't get passed, don't buy into it. Don't play the game. Don't play the sides and don't play the team. There's one team, us, the people. Everybody else is like the special. They're kickers, right? They're the special teams. We need them for very specific stuff. Just like a kicker. Kicker and a quarterback. We're the quarterbacks. We're the linemen. We're the shooters. And we're definitely not the kickers. We're definitely not the kickers. So all of you beautiful people here, keep your eyes open, man. Hold these people accountable. Because we know better. If you don't know better, you're in the right place. Enjoy this music. Hello to all you beautiful people. Bubbles, Goat, Storyteller. Man, you guys make me happy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And we'll be right back with some more news.
Oh, Susanna, don't cry for me. We had some good years, so let me be. The world goes on. I sang my song. I gave my own true love for you to see. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry. Hold the tears back and dry your eyes. What's this life without a sweet goodbye? And though it's over, take this letter for when the nights grow colder. Dear friends and gentle hearts, the time has come to part. The jig is up now, so lay me down. So when the world gets dark, know I loved you from the start. Listen to the words I sang to you. The son of America, a Pennsylvania child. They say the day I was born was the 4th day of July. My mother's love and my father's pride. But the hard times would come again. Out on the Bowery was the very end. Dear friends and gentle hearts, the time has come to part. The jig is up now, so lay me down. So when the world gets dark, know I loved you from the start. Listen to the words I sang to you. Never been to Alabama, never seen Louisiana, never lived in old Kentucky. I ain't never been so lucky. Song about the Southland from a Yankee Doodle dandy man. That's America, America. Oh, Susanna, don't cry for me. Read this letter and take the time you need. Dear friends and gentle hearts, the time has come to part. The jig is up now, so lay me down. So when the world gets dark, know I loved you from the start. Listen to the words I sang to you. Listen to the words I sang to you.
All right. That was Dear Friends and Gentlemen by Roy Williams. Just a nice little ditty for you as we continue on this beautiful January 25th day. Okay, I woke up with a headache and oh my goodness, it sucked so much ass. I hate headaches. I don't get them often. And I know it's because I haven't been drinking water, man. But when it's time to know the weather, it's time to know the weather. And as we don't have our weather correspondent, I'll give you some local weather. Right now, it is 31 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like 24. For those people overseas, I'm pretty sure that's like negative 208. So bundle up, y'all, because it's a little chilly. It's actually, wait, if 32 is 0 C, then they're probably at like 1 C right now. So bundle up, y'all. Your nipples will be poking. All right, we got a little bit of wind coming out of the north. Or no, it's coming out of the actual, what would that be? Like southwest. So we got wind going at 5 miles per hour southwest. A surprising amount of humidity, 54%. That's a lot for here. That's a lot of here. So bundle up, cover your nipples, because it's going to be a chilly one today. Oh. But weather aside, you think it's chilly here. Hello, Richard. How are you, my friend? You think it's chilly here? Oh, my. Last time I checked, there's a cold breeze blowing down Trudeau's neck. And it's called a population who's growing a sack. I don't know much about Canadian history. And I mean, no disrespect, only laughs about everything I'm about to say. I don't know if Canada's ever had a revolution before. I don't know if Canada has ever, protested. Over the last 2 years, Canada has seen quite the adjustment in temper, I would say. And that is a unique situation to see. So imagine a world where your hat, who's been sitting on your head your whole life, keeping you warm, never really making a big deal. People always complimented on how nice it looked and how nice it was. And, it spoke a couple languages and had weird money. So picture your hat all of a sudden is up in arms. And you just got a bunch of elbows and A's throwing. And it's interesting to watch because as the country that typically is having the protests and the civil unrest, you could say, the notable civil unrest, it's really interesting to see it happen to one of our neighbors, because in the more developed worlds, the conflicts change. So if you look at less developed nations, you see fights over land and you see fights over resources and territory and power. You essentially have conflicts based off of how developed your society is. And as the society develops into a less agrarian and more modern world, I don't know what the technical name is, so do the fights, right? And so in a place like, Africa and Middle Eastern nations, they're just fighting over kings and, my blood is better than your blood. And all right, fine, whatever. The tribal shit. But then when you get to US, Canada, Europe, so what do those protests usually look like? They're in the middle of the cities. They're not with AKs walking down the street. They're with people with signs who are pissed. You don't see signs over there in the lesser places. So in lesser as in developed, get over yourselves. You know what I mean? And I only hate people who are assholes. So if you think I hate those people, it means you think they're assholes, so you're the racist one. See how I turn around? Fucking Uno reverse card. You can't get me. But the point I'm making is the struggles change. The struggles change as the culture changes. So right now, Canada has reached a point where people have a backbone. People are actually standing up for their rights and independence, which doesn't exist. Prime Minister Blackface himself said on live freaking television We don't have the right to defend ourselves with a gun in Canada. He told the people that. He told the people, you don't have the right to keep yourself alive with a gun. You have to use something else. Good luck. The police can. They'll shoot you to keep themselves alive because, they just want to get home. They're just following orders. But you, as a citizen, don't have the right to protect your life, liberty with a weapon simply because you're some guy who comes from the WEF and was somehow elected, even though he ran an election during lockdowns and more or less guaranteed that he would get reelected because of how he did it. Like, he's the one telling you that you don't have the right to defend yourself if someone's trying to take your life. And one of the easiest ways to defend yourself is with a weapon. Period. That's what they exist for. They exist for sport. They exist for fun. But ultimately, it's a weapon designed to take a life. And because of that, it needs to be respected. But it doesn't change the fact that its ultimate purpose is the equalizer. Because now, picture an old lady and then Marcus. Here comes Marcus. I'm a bad guy in this scenario. And I want to do bad things to her. What is the one and only object that is going to keep her safe from me if my intention is to take her out? Granny Oakley better lock and load because that's what's going to keep her safe. And as much as we want to wish that this isn't a world that has bad people in it, prisons exist, people. Cops exist. Bad people exist. We don't focus on them. We don't live our lives because of them, but we never forget that they're there. Because that's the only way to overcome the bad is to be exceptionally good. And the only way to be exceptionally good is to be aware of the jackasses. I don't know what those words came from somewhere. The jackasses and dad. But the whole point, the ultimate point, is that when the society is getting upset with the leaders, civil unrest is what you will see. It is throughout all of our human history. Because in a world where the grand majority of people are good, violence is not what you see. You can see conflict, you can see anger, you can see yelling, but violence is not what good people want. And it's not because they're cowards, it's not because they're unwilling to fight, it's because they know that violence is the last resort. But ultimately, violence is part of the world that we live in. So you can't pretend like it doesn't exist. So in a world where peaceful protests are met with violence and weapons, trucker protests, emergency protocol or emergency powers enacted to stop civil unrest, that is when you have a leadership that needs to wake the fuck up and start to listen to the people. Because these people want peace. If they didn't want peace, there'd be violence and damage and destruction. Look at the U.S. BLM didn't want peace, they wanted power. Regardless of your beliefs on it, that's mine. Because people who want power destroy. People who want power take. People who want power use their rage as a weapon. People who want change have enough self-respect in themselves to not use violence. And that is why violence is the number one indicator of if it's tough, man. Because I understand violence is also, there's no revolution that has ever happened that didn't involve violence. None. But it should always be the last resort. It really should. And if you're going to take violence as an action, you just have to make sure that what you're doing is well thought out. So with all that being said, right now, the civil unrest in Canada continues. Because ultimately, you have a population who's a little bit at odds with itself. I get it, man. You have two very powerful trains of thought. And when that happens, they tend to meet in the middle and they run into each other. And they fight and they push. They push against each other. So in a world where, as a leader, Trudeau, you have to figure out how to navigate a disrupted population. Because Justin Trudeau was swarmed by angry protesters demanding he resign. Now, just because you have a bunch of protesters demanding something doesn't mean shit. So, right? So there's protesters for everything. But the thing that happens when you notice a protest, you should go, why? Like, you shouldn't immediately pick sides, especially if you don't know what's going on. You either choose to ignore it, or if you want to form an opinion, you need to actually look up and see, what are these people protesting? And then after you've taken that information, you develop an opinion. So my opinion is based off of all of the aforementioned things that Mr. Trudeau has done. He has a very loud and energized part of his population that is pissed, and they want him to resign. So as a good leader, there's a couple things he could choose to do. And as I continue to watch this man's interviews, the two things he can do is he can either treat the people as equals and address their concerns, and even if they cannot agree, work towards a middle ground. Have an open and honest conversation. Because if the movement is gaining enough strength to merit respect, then you should respect it. And the other option, which is what he's doing, is he can dig his heels in, demonize and criminalize and bastardize the opposition to him by calling them white supremacists, calling them terrorists, labeling them as criminals. And then he can hope that through his powers of government, he will come out on top as the authority on who was right. Now tell me, which one of those choices sounds like a leader, and which one of those choices sounds like a king? For me, it's really easy. You can't give a voice to every group that protests you at a restaurant. But what you can definitely do is look for a thread that is happening through your country and trying to work on a way to make the collaboration happen, not just hold the line until enough people get in line. It ain't the way to lead, Justin. And if you ever want any type of dignity or respect back from any type of conservative-minded individuals, you got to put less hair gel in, never do the blackface again. I know you want to, but just refrain and listen to your people. It's that simple. Well, you got to do more than listen. You got to say something too. But as we wrap this show up, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. They do have the power, man. They do. But as we wrap it up, I want to thank you all for being in the Markus Morning Show, the Markus Morning Radio Show, where we play the greatest epidemic tunes. We educate you on the news that actually matters, and we help each other figure out the best way to navigate this crazy freaking world. So if you're interested, we have a wonderful show right after the radio show where we are going to be playing Apex with the one, the only Crump. So if you want to watch me crank some 45s and have just a wonderful Apex time, stick around. If not, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys real soon. Much love, y'all.
I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't want to be like you. If you want to take it back to the 50s, maybe I'm not the guy for you. You're dying not to work until you die, you know that's true. Have you thought it through? 'Cause you love to tell me what to do. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. I do. You lie so you don't need to impress the ones you hate. That's so up. Cause everything you own just ends up owning you. So, dear society, you suck. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down. And I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Ooh. Dear society, you suck. Am I the only one who's outside of this box? Who cares about your posts? I know they're only fake. Show us what you own and how much money that you make. Yeah, I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. Keep your stupid job, pretend that you're the person you wanted to be. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying inside. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down. I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Yowza. See, I've got beside you. And I see why you can't understand me. But now I'm gone. My head's in a spin again. And my heart won't let me begin to see I've got nothing to win. In a spin again, and my heart won't let me begin to see I've got nothing to win. But now I'm gone. My head's in a spin